Welcome to Ngosi Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Welcome to Ngosi Talk Show. Find your own voice. Lead from within. Over to you, Amanda. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
My name is Amanda Cottrell. I'm coming to you from Canada. I am a teacher, an author, and an illustrator, and my focus is helping people find their own unique creative capacities within themselves.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Over to you, Carol Ann. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes, good afternoon from London. And as the writing facilitator, what I do is I support soul-driven entrepreneurs in becoming more productive with their writing by connecting them with their deeper innate ability to write. But more importantly, they experience free-flowing writing. They experience an unlocking of the writer within and getting their book written, getting their story written, because you cannot publish what isn't written. And all of this has come about through my own journey of unlocking the writer within. So I'm Carol Ann, unlocking the writer within and helping you create momentum in your business through the written word. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol Ann. So our topic today is how to be careful for nothing. So I basically chose this topic basically because human beings, we tend to plan everything. We are careful with everything that we say. And if you look at a child, when a child is growing up, when a child cries, that child is expressing their feelings, is telling you that I'm not okay. But the parents will tell that child off and say, don't do this. And that child, maybe if they're in public, they get told off by crying, expressing their feelings. So that child grows up knowing that if I express my feelings, that means it's not allowed, or it's a shame, or there's so many things a child can translate that in a different ways. Or if somebody is happy, and people, sometimes I've seen people that are always happy, and people will be like, oh, why is she happy? Is she on the pill or something? People seems to think like you don't have to express your feelings. So that's why I chose this topic, and also based on the scripture in Ephesians that says, and the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your heart and mind through Christ. So that means through Christ, or I don't know what people believe, through Christ, you don't have to worry about anything. You can take all your worries and everything to Him, or whatever your beliefs, or whatever the universe. So that's why I chose this topic. So I'm gonna give it to you, Carol Ann. How do you understand the topic?
Yeah, it's interesting because I had to look it up, because that word careful, it was like the whole phrase, how to be careful for nothing. It's like it felt a bit sort of clunky to me. But actually, when I read what it was meaning and the fact that careful means anxious, so don't be anxious for nothing. I was like, that's interesting. So don't fret about anything. Don't worry. What it's saying is there is a support there that if you call on it, will help you. And so I, and now it's sort of come to understand it as, don't worry. All is okay, all will be well. And actually, as more I thought about it, if you are anxious and you worry, that actually creates what's the word? The whole stress in your body, and stress is unhealthy. So that's not helping you. So if you can be at peace and not be anxious, it will actually promote a healthiness within your body, take away that stress. So yeah, I thought, be an interesting topic to explore. And you said about people tend to plan everything. And that's true. There is this, got a plan, because it's almost like you want to control the outcome. You've got to know what's going to happen. Well, I come back to this period of time. Surely if that hasn't taught us anything, it is stop planning, stop trying to control, and be in the moment and just let go. Because the more we're anxious, the more we worry, the less our health is going to be. So yeah, that's how I looked at it.
You, Amanda, please.
I was a little confused with this topic at first. I had to be like, I'm not sure what you mean. But I do agree with Caroline that it is about letting go of your worries and letting go of the need to control everything. And when I understood that, I was like, okay, this is such a fantastic topic, because I struggle with that. I struggle with I'm a planner. I'm a very A-type personality where it's like, let's plan this. Let's make sure that we've got everything organized, because I'm a teacher, so I have to be that way. Like, I plan my week a week ahead of time so that I know what we're doing. But within that week, I always have the flexibility to live in the moment with what the kids need. And so even though for me, I have to have my week planned a week ahead of time so that I know that I'm not going to be like stuck scrambling at the last minute for what I'm going to teach. But I know that within that, I still need to live in the moment with the kids in the classroom, and know that at any given moment, we may have to just throw my plans out the window and just even go for a walk because they're too squirmy, and we need to just get outside. Or if it's beautiful out one day, I'll throw my plans out the window and we'll go outside and we'll do some learning outside. And that's something that I know I have the flexibility and the impromptuness to do, and I don't worry about that. But if I'm not planned a week ahead of time, I stress. But I know that I can live in that moment of being able to just throw my plans out the window and not worry. And so I think that it's a unique space where you have to have, like for me, because I'm an A-type personality, where I have to have those plans, and I like to be organized and know what I'm doing all week, but also be able to throw my plans out the window and deal with whatever it is I'm feeling in that moment, even if it's outside of my classroom too. And I'm very much like, I walk on Wednesdays. I do this on Thursdays. Like, this is the way that I am. But I know too that sometimes I have to let go of that need to plan and live in the moment and not have to worry about having so much structure in my life. And that's a hard thing for people with A-type personality like I am.
Yeah, I like what you said there, Amanda. It is having that balance of having, yes, that certainty. Okay, I've planned this, but within that, you allow flexibility. You allow yourself to be in the moment and go, okay, this isn't working right now. I'll move on and do something else. And I think that's great. And that really is what helps to be more comfortable within yourself and to move forward. So that's great. That's really great. And it's great that you actually are in that moment and can feel into what your pupils are wanting, because that is so important. And I think that's where we lose it if we get into, oh, but I said I've got to do this, and so no, you've got to do this right now. That doesn't help pupils to learn either, because you're putting them into a stress situation. So being flexible and feeling into it is really great. Yeah.
Thank you so much to our audience who are watching. You know what I love? I love when the audience are talking, getting involved into the conversation. Hi, hey, happy. Good to see you, girl. Come on, girls and ladies and gentlemen, get into the conversation and let us know how you do your things and how you feel about the topic. If you have some advice you want to give the audience, just type in how you do things. I like Amanda and Carol Anna, how you see, the way you say basically you plan and then you basically keep the flexibility. Me, basically, I plan for business. And I do the same with you, Amanda. But I always know that the day will never go my way. No matter how much I want, I have to let go. This is something that I've learned the hard way, because I used to get frustrated. If I can tell you this, I used to spend my life frustrated if things don't go my way. But I think it was 2006 or 7. I think I was pregnant with my daughter. That's when I realized that actually things will never go my way, even no matter how hard I try. So I decided I'm going to be flexible. And because no matter what you do in life, I know there are some people that don't believe in God, or they believe in the universe, but God created the universe. But no matter what you do in life, I always know that God knows the ending to what I'm doing. He knows the ending of my day. He knows how my day is going to be. And I always say, just take control. When I get up in the morning, I always pray and ask God to take control over my life. And I always say, if there is problems, please make sure you give them to me at the right time. At the right time is when I'm not eating. When I'm eating, it's not the right time for problems. For somebody to call me and tell me problems. I do not answer the phone when somebody calls me when I'm eating. When I'm in the shower, when I'm getting ready, I do not answer the phone. Before I go to work, I do not answer the phone. I have to answer the phone when I'm in the office, when I get to work. You tell me about the problems, I'm listening. I have your attention. Honestly, this is not a lie. If my phone rings when I'm getting my children ready, so basically if you speak as you want to call me, be in the morning when I'm getting my children ready, I look at it and say, okay, I'll come back to you. I don't answer the phone. I plan my day, I plan my business, because there's so many things that I have planned. I've planned my business, that this is gonna go like this is gonna go like this. And God decided to change things how he wanted to be done. And I remember I went to Andy Harrington's event and I was busy making plans. I'm gonna go, my coach is gonna be this, but things were changed. And I ended up with Desmond O'Connor. And there's so many things that I have done with my business that I've seen things changes. I'm not sure, Carol Ann, if you wanna take over and have your way.
Oh gosh. Yeah, my plan was I was going to be teaching all my, working life. I couldn't see anything beyond that. That's all I wanted to be, was a teacher. And even when I trained as an infant teacher because I didn't think I had the confidence to be with the older students and pupils, knowing how, as a pupil of that age, how we used to treat student teachers. It's like, I thought, oh God, I can't deal with that. So I trained as an infant teacher. And but even then I didn't get a post when I left college because I got married, which I hadn't foreseen. And we moved to another area. I didn't go back to the town I grew up in. And if I'd gone back there, because they gave me a grant, I would have, secured a job at that time. So I didn't actually get a teaching post for quite a few years. And it turned out I ended up in secondary, in a secondary school, because in between time, I got a job with another company, got my degree in maths, and then some supply teaching came up. Sorry, I come out of order. I then had my children, and then some supply teaching came up in some local secondary schools, and I just went for it. And eventually then ended up teaching maths in secondary schools. It wasn't what I planned at all, but I enjoyed it. And I never saw me ever leaving teaching, but I did. I ended up training in something called educational kinesiology, brain gym, and then leaving teaching and training in other complementary fields. And now, as you heard earlier, I'm now supporting others in unlocking the writer within. I mean, that whole journey has just, I just trust the process, because it's like, to me, I keep saying, well, the universe had other ideas, So, yeah, but what I've realized is what I enjoyed with teaching is what I'm bringing to my role now. For a long time, I actually pushed away teaching because I got so structured. I think that's not who I am anymore. But actually, once I start acknowledging that, yes, I am a teacher, I'm an educator. An educator is actually about drawing out learning. And educational kinesiology is about drawing out learning through movement. So I realized that actually I bring that to the role that I now do as a writing facilitator. I enjoy seeing people come alive when they succeed with doing something that they thought they couldn't do, and that was the same I enjoyed with maths, because that's not the most popular subject and it's not the one that most people find easy. But to get that joy of somebody going, is that all it is? Yeah, and the fun I used to have when I used to get joyful about something and they just look at me and go, what? But so it's bringing that joy and allowing others to find the same joy in exploring learning and coming to an aha moment for themselves, because that's the most powerful thing, is when you find it from within. It's when it comes to you from within that you really get it. It's not about other people telling you. It goes in one ear and out the other. When you hear it from within, then you really get it, So, I've had some twists and turns over the years. Certainly didn't, never expected to end up here.
Amanda, you're quiet.
I agree with Caroline that you never can totally plan out where you want to go or what your plan is. I'd never planned on having kids, and I have one. So that's something that I think that people get, and we can learn so much from children too, because they are so much more in the moment than adults are. Adults tend to be in their heads all the time and thinking 10 steps ahead, or at least I am always. And kids can pull you out of that and help you learn how to live in the moment better and how to see things differently, especially even like just being out in nature, and they'll notice things that you don't notice, like little heart rock or even like a little animal or certain flowers that they just will see, that because they're so living so much more in the moment and not just focused on that one path that they think they need to take, that adults think they need to take anyways. But also even for me, like I think sometimes we overthink things too much, and I know I haven't had a like personal example of this happen just like 2 weeks ago when I was hiking with friends, and we did one of the hardest hikes I've ever done, and at one point we had to go across this part where you had to hang on to these chains and if you slipped you would like fall to your death. And I was like, I cannot overthink this. I just had to like go and make sure that I was not the last one and not the first one to go, because if I was the last one I wouldn't have made it across. I had to just like focus on like each tiny step and not overthink anything and just like I'm gonna get across this, stop being a baby. People do this every single day. It's not that like hard, but it was so hard for me to not like overthink it, and just once I got across, I was so proud of myself that I like actually made it, because I thought I would freeze in the middle and someone would have to come across and save me. But it's so true that we have to just not worry and take those steps and live in that moment. And I think I've been thinking about that hike a lot over the last 2 weeks, and just like how hard it was, but also how empowering it was to actually achieve something that I didn't think I could achieve. And when we stop, like if I had sat there and worried about those chains the entire time and getting across that steep section with the cliff, that there's no way I would have made it across, because I am an overthinker. And for once, because I knew it was a hard hike, I didn't actually look it up before we went. I just was like, nope, I'm not gonna look at any of the reviews. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna go and we're gonna have fun. And I know lots of people have done this before, and I'm not gonna worry about it. And so that was a big step for me to just be able to live in that moment and not stress too much about it, and know that I could do it. And I think when we're so stressed about something or we overthink something, we get into a frenzy and we can't think straight. And I know that if I had let myself do that, I would have never made it across that part of the hike. But I know too that can happen in relationships, that can happen in your job, it can happen with your children. When you overthink things, you like can get into this frenzy and makes things so much bigger in your head than they actually are. And sometimes we need to really let go of that. And that is something that's really hard to do, especially for people who have anxiety, because anxiety is that thing that's triggered, and you overthink things to the point where it almost immobilizes you. And I so I know that, and I'm trying to be more conscious of when that comes up, that I can recognize that it's just my anxiety that's causing me to overthink and stress about things. This is not the reality of the situation. And I think that's so hard for people sometimes, is to step back from the situation and not worry and let go and trust in the process. Trust in the process is something that is so hard sometimes, especially if you really had your heart set on something and it doesn't work out the way you had hoped.
To unmute myself. I agree with you, Amanda, because planning things is sometimes it's good for business to know. May I plan the vision, and like I said before, like what you're saying, that sometimes we plan and then we start getting into anxiety, and even the children as well, they can get stressed as well, because if the parents are stressed, so they can get stressed as well. So for me, you come to my house, that's when you will know that there's no normality in my house with my children. They know what they need to do, But if that plan, it doesn't go according to plan, or sometimes if I go running and I know my daughter, that my children needs to be in bed by this time, if I come back and they're still up, I just say, okay. And I'll be like, okay, it's bedtime, girls. So they go to bed. But before, I'll be really, really worried. Really worried. How come you guys are not in bed? Or sometimes I scream. But I learn to scream. I've learned to scream it when I'm praying, when I'm talking to God. That's where you find me screaming. And Martin will be like, Nomsa, why don't you just pray like everybody else who close their eyes and pray in their heart? And I'm like, no, he needs to hear me. Since I learned that the voice is whatever you speak, it cannot be erased, because if I'm speaking, because he spoke in the Bible that what anything you ask in my name, my Father will do it, or anything you ask in my name, your desires, I will do it. So I have to quote it out loud. That's what I believe, that, okay, my worries are not my worries, because like we were talking about it the other day, Carol Ann, saying, when whatever you are going through, whatever the day, whatever is being prepared, we don't know the ending. Whatever your beliefs, that will be the ending, whatever you believe. So for me, I believe in God. And the reason I'm saying this is that I believe in God. I believe that I've seen people doing things that I have never thought they were capable of doing those things. People from starting things, from building empires and doing this, and that made me realize that actually as human beings, we are capable of anything, as long we are willing to actually to pay the price, or we are willing to actually take a sacrifice and say, I'm going to do this. No matter how people can laugh at me, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes. So that's what I believe myself, that if whatever you believe, whether you believe in God or whatever you believe, even if you don't believe in anything, God doesn't say, he says, come as you are. That day when you cry and say, I need you, he will plan that day the way you want him to plan that day. So that's what I believe, that whatever you want to do in life, that's why I say, like sometimes I've seen myself, like when I went to Des, looking for a business coach. I went looking for a business coach. When I went looking for business coach, I had it in my mind that a business coach is somebody who tells me, who gives me the information that I need. Is a business coach who makes things happen, who actually makes my business happen. I'm telling you the truth. I didn't know that I am the one who's gonna have to make things happen. That was my mindset when I went to him, when I sat down with him, because I had this mind that I'm gonna pay him, so that means he will make things happen. But when I went to sit down, we had to have the conversation was, okay, Nomsa, this is what I can, okay, I introduce myself, he introduced himself. So then he says, this is what I can offer your business, where your business is, this is what I can offer your business. This is what I need from you. And I was like, are you having a laugh? Okay, yes, are you having a laugh? What do you need from me? You want me to actually be upfront? I need you to speak about your business. I need you to talk about, I'm gonna need you, this is what I do. If you want to basically to be on top like everybody else, you're gonna have to be a CEO that is not behind the scenes. You're gonna have to be somebody that speak about the business. You're gonna have to go on stage and talk about what you do. And I was like, are you having a laugh? What did you just say? And then he was like, yes, you had me, Nomsa. And he was like, I take your money. If you agree with the deal, this is my bank account, this is the contract. But if you don't agree with the deal, we can't work together. And I was like, go on, man. I'm not afraid of anything. I'll do whatever you want as long as you teach me. And I was like, no, Nomsa, I'm not gonna teach you. I'm gonna teach you what you need. I'm gonna share with you the information how you need to behave as a businesswoman, how you need to be seen. You're gonna have to create that character, who you want to be and how you want to be seen. And I remember going home and I was like, this is so much information, but as the time goes by, when I started not think about carefully what I'm doing, and I went on stage, I was really nervous. I didn't know what to say. The man was calmed down, and I looked at him. I was like, he's having a laugh. Then I went on stage. I just spoke about my business. This is what I do. And in the end, he had to explain that was their first time on stage. And people were like, she was good. We like her. So sometimes you do things that you don't plan. I don't know, Carol Ann, have you had to do things that?
Yes. I mean, I love what you're saying about, you've got a business coach thinking he was going to make your business for you.
Yeah, that
and I
was
think
in
that's
my mind.
and I think that's a mindset that a lot of people are in. They think they're going to, someone else can fix things for you, and actually that's not the truth. You need to put in the work, and all they can do is share with you what to do, make the suggestions through their own experience, their own knowledge and wisdom around running a business, and what they see you doing, so they can review and feed back to you. Well, this is what you did, and this is what you need to do to make, to improve. But also, I like what he said. It was how you need to behave and how you need to be seen. It is about who you're being and about being visible. And those are two great points there. But so yeah, getting up on stage, speaking out, sharing, and I know those are things that I've been, I know I need to do that, but it's like I go hiding. I'm very good at hiding, going silent, very silent. And I actually, it must have been about 6-7 years ago now, I paid for someone to do a website for me, create an automated business system. And I remember thinking, oh, great, this is going to be great. He's going to get the website up and it's all going to run for me. All I had to do was do the blogs, write the blogs, and it would all just run. Well, no. For starters, I needed to say what it was I wanted in the content on the website. And then I found that even though I'd written bits or I explained what it was I wanted for various sections, it was misinterpreted. And I literally had to go back through it and change things, which at that time I was still sort of in that phase of, oh God, I know what I want to say, I know how I'm feeling, and it took me ages to rewrite it. I can be a bit quicker these days, having worked on a lot of those things around writing. But eventually, the website got up and running, and it was a program that I had, a remote healing program. And I thought, oh, this is going to be great. But when I did get it running, it still wasn't right. There were still things that weren't working properly with it. But then I had to do the blogging. And that's literally where it just stopped. And any of the coaching that I paid for to follow up around that, it just stopped because I wasn't doing the part that I needed to do. And so literally, am I thinking, gosh, that was rather an expensive lesson. But I've realized that there is something I can salvage from that. There is a way I can move forward from it, because there's things on there like the free report that I use, and I've updated that now, and I can utilize that. All of the other structures that are there, and forms I can utilize in another way. I've now realized how I can now create the program in a slightly different way. So my goal is that by the end of the year, I will have updated it and be working that program in a more efficient way. But yeah, it was down to me to do the work, and I'm still not doing the blogging. I keep putting it on my goals to do blogs, and I've drafted blogs, but somehow there's a block that I'm still working through. But again, it's part of the journey that I'm on, part of the realization that there's a lot of things that we need to write for our business, and someone else can't do it for us. It's got to be our words. It's got to have our voice, you know? And so, yes, you can talk to someone else about it. They can write it out. But ultimately, you need to go back over it, because you may find they've put their own voice on it, their own little twists on what they thought they heard you say. And, you know, you need to then be able to change it. But it has got to have your voice. And there are lots of things that, you know, we need to write for our business so that other people can really understand what we're about. Because someone else's voice has got different resonance. What they're saying, how they put things together, it's not you. So therefore, it's not authentic. It has no integrity. And so that's really what I'm about. So yes, certainly there are things that I'm still working on, but I am speaking out now. I am doing more speaking gigs and doing podcasts and being interviewed and doing this, you know, chat show. So that's something that I knew I needed to do, but it's taken quite a few years to get to this point. And it's all about doing the inner work. And for me, the inner work is more important than the outer work, so to speak, because the more you do the inner work, the rest just gets easier and easier. So, yeah, certainly, it is a rude awakening, isn't it, Non? So when you realize, oh my God, you mean I got to do some work? You're not going to do it for me? Oh. But again, it comes back to don't fret. Don't worry, if you put that faith in that higher power and you are in the moment and you don't worry about going upside down. Like, Amanda, what did you? Upside down, beautiful.
I tried to brush some cat hair off my computer and now I'm upside down somehow.
You see, best laid plans to go and do something. It's like, what does it do to us?
It's still upside down. Hold on.
I don't know. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
You see, things just don't always go how we plan.
Yep.
But it's just being able to laugh about it, learn, move on, and do what is there to do, and just hold that vision where you want to go. Yeah. So, yeah, no, thank you for that reminder. So that was great.
I don't know. I just did the same thing and tried to like sweep the cat hair off because there's like a little bit of cat hair on the corner of my sleeve and I'm upside down.
Amanda is upside down.
Oh, and I just did the exact same thing and it's still leaving me upside down. I don't know if I just have to like adjust my computer. Well, it's my iPad. I didn't plan on being upside down.
No.
You can laugh. I think sometimes you just have to learn how to laugh at yourself. And that's
That is so true.
so
That is
hard
true.
to do. Is just learn to laugh when things don't go the way you planned. When things don't go the way you planned, you need to learn how to just laugh it off and to live in the moment and to enjoy the silly things about life that you can't always plan. Important is to just be able to be like, oh, I didn't plan this, but we're gonna enjoy it just the way it is. And yeah, I think that's something that's so important for everybody to learn, is how to just laugh things off and to enjoy the silly challenges that come up, and even technology challenges that we can get so frustrated with.
That is so funny.
Yay!
Here you are, Amanda.
Oh,
Back
Lord.
not
We've got
upside
you
down.
back, girl.
Oh, gosh. So how did you solve it? What did you just do?
Oh, I just moved the iPad, but all I had done was just sweep some. There was like a little bit of cat hair on the screen, and I was like, just wiped it off. Things don't always go the way you plan them, and you can't always plan them. That's the hard part. As much as the A-type personality people like me want to be able to plan everything and know what's happening next, it doesn't always work that way. And something can come and completely change the direction of your day. And I think sometimes we need to just learn how to let go of that control and not worry for nothing. The way that you had stated at the start is to be careful not to always stress about things, and to learn to live in the moment. And that's something that people who have anxiety is really, really hard, is to learn to live in the moment, because they're always thinking about something else. And I know that to step back and to be inside your body, and Caroline talked about the inner work. The inner work is something that nobody else can do for us. It is something that we have to take on ourselves, and no one can help us get through those personal battles, or those or the business battles. It has to be ourselves, and for us to be able to take charge and say, like, no, I'm going to take control of my life. I'm going to take the steps that I need to do. I can't control everything the way that I want them to go, but I can enjoy the ride as I go along, and trust and be grateful for the things that we do have, and for the things that we have learned along the way. I think that's something so important, is to just always come back to gratitude. And when you want something so badly, but it's not coming in, and just to take a step back and be like, maybe something better is coming along that I haven't foreseen, that I haven't been able to envision in my mind, because I was only thinking in this one direction. And I know for myself, I had never planned on getting divorced, or even really planned on getting married ever. And those things happened in my life, and I'm so grateful for them, because now I'm able to help people in a way that I would have never been able to help people if I hadn't gone through what I had gone through. And I think that when things come up in our lives, we have, even the hard things, we have to be grateful for those things, especially after the fact. You're always learning. In every situation, you have the opportunity to learn. And that's something that I tell my students too. Like, I can't learn for you. I could be the best teacher in the entire world, and I still cannot teach you unless you choose to learn. And you have to be able to be open and willing to learn and do the work. And if you're not open and willing to do that, then there's nothing I can teach you, right? You have the choice to learn or not. It is your choice, but you have to also be willing to do the work in order to be able to learn the concepts in any piece of your learning, right? So with Nomza, with your business, if you're not willing to do the learning and to do the work, it's not going to grow the way you had hoped. And same with in the classroom. If you're not willing to engage in that content and do the work, no matter how much I teach and engage and do silly dances across the room or whatever to try to get kids to remember things, they're not going to remember unless they truly engage in what it is that we're doing. And I think that that's something that we need to think about when we are trying to learn or build something or want something to happen, is you have to be an active participant in what you want to achieve. And sometimes we just think that we want things to come into our lives, and unless we are being an active participant in making those things happen and letting go of the outcome, but living in the moment, is something that I think is really important.
And I think that's great points that you made there about being a willing learner, and you do have the choice to be open and be willing to learn. And it works both ways, because the teacher can learn from the pupil, and that is where you can both support each other, because it's being in the moment with the pupil and what is going on for them, which you can then adapt your teaching, you know, and that's where you can then be supportive. And that's the choice you have, to be willing to be adaptable and to be open and learn in that moment. Well, is what I'm doing here working for that pupil or for this class, you know? And like you said, you decide, no, let's go out and play some games outside or do some activities. And the same for you, Nomster, you know, it's like, as a coach has to be willing to learn from whoever they're coaching. They can't be straight-laced and say, no, it's got to be this way, and that's it. And you're not open to really listening to what's happening and being open to learning yourself. Well, actually, my methods aren't working for this person I'm coaching. How can I adapt it, or what can I do, you know, that would work? So it's a two-way thing. And I remember when I did my NLP trainers training, and it was run by somebody called Topher Morrison, and Andy Harrington was also co-teaching, you know, at the same time on that same program. And there was something that Andy was teaching, and it was to do with metaphors and actually sort of looping them. And I just couldn't get what he was saying at all. I couldn't see it. And because he was talking about it, and he was getting quite irate with me, you know, it was like, well, do you want to learn or not? And then something just, and I remember actually one of the coaches saying, oh, but the picture's in the manual. And I'm thinking, but that diagram doesn't help me. You know, you're not hearing what I'm saying, or you're not understanding. But something changed. And in that moment, Andy stopped and said, well, would you like to see an example? And he literally talked through an example, and it did the three stories, and it embedded, you know, opened one loop, and then opened another one, and opened another, and then closed them. And by the time he'd finished, and he would say, right, this is where I'm opening this one, where I'm closing this one. And at the end I went, oh, I see, I got it. Because it was more than just seeing a diagram. It was actually seeing the thing play out was what I needed. And I've always been really grateful for him adapting in that moment, because I learned so much more than just what he was trying to teach me, you know? So it is about, being adaptable and learning yourself as a teacher or a coach or a trainer, you know, and being willing and open to be adaptive and learn. So it's both ways. We're both teachers and students, you know, and it's about students realizing they're not just students, they're also teachers, and allowing them to realize that. So yes, and that's what I'm passionate about, and what I really believe and have opened up to over these, you know, these, how many years now that I've been on this journey of discovery. So yeah.
I agree with Amanda. I'm going to start with Amanda. You know, you were talking about the battles. Basically, when you are into business or whatever you do, you have to basically have a voice. And because of my mindset then, I hadn't run a business before. That's when I realized, actually, since I've been running my business, basically, whoever you want them to do your work for, when it comes to business, they always starts with what you want and what does your business offer. So you have to know what you want, and you have to know the path you want to take. And Carol Anna was talking about the content. Basically, the content, you have to be the writer. Even though I had a business coach, but Daisy was like, you are going to write your own content. and I write the content, and then he will just put the masterpiece and make sure that he does proofreading. Like Carol Ann, you were saying, you have to go back and check if there's been any changes. What I've realized with him, he left my voice. Everything on the website was my voice, but he was just correcting the wording only, but making sure that everything, it is my voice. And even it's like the marketing people, when you talk to them, they always want you to have a voice. What audience would you like? So if you are somebody who wants to run your own business and you don't have a voice, you are somebody who is careful. I used to worry about what people think if I make the right decision, but in business, that language, it doesn't work. You have to speak your mind. You have to be the leader. You have to be a great leader that cares about people and that cares about the path, basically the path where you want to go. Friends, if you are in the business, and basically it's like a gossip talk show with the speakers, I listen to everybody's ideas and I take everything on board, but every time I make a decision, it has to be the culture where I need Ngozi Talk Show to go. It has to be the beliefs. It has to, whatever the advice that I get, it has to go with the beliefs of Ngozi Talk Show, the values of Ngozi Talk Show. Basically, the values, we help people find their own voice. We help people lead from within. We help people understand that in life, there are no guarantees. So the list goes on, and you guys, you know the list of Ngozi Talk Show, and even Hope Springs Eternal Introduction Agency is all about unconditional love, teaching people what does love mean, instead of them believing that big cars, big houses, it matters. Everything matters, all those things, but when it comes to love, love comes from within. You have to understand how to love you first, before you can write down and say, I want a man who is rich, or I want a woman who is rich, or I want a woman who is this. You have to become that. Even though you haven't got it, or you are not rich, but you have to understand the lifestyle. So that's what I teach my clients, and that is what my beliefs. But do my beliefs right? No, they're right for me, but my clients, when they come in, they have to understand those values, that I value you first before I can connect you with somebody. Are you okay first? That is my beliefs. That is the client okay? Are they what they say they want? Like Carol Ann, you were talking about, you had to find your own voice. You had to make sure that on the website, you it's your voice. It's the same with the clients when they come to me. When you go on a date, is it gonna be your voice? Is it gonna be you that is choosing that person, or you just gonna listen to what Nomsa just said and say, oh, I'm gonna do what the coach said? No, you don't do that. It's your voice. You have a final say, because I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life with that person you choose, but you are. So that's why it's very, very important not to plan careful, but to go and have fun. You find out everything that you want to do when you are having fun. But when you are getting anxiety, you were talking about anxiety, being anxious a lot, Amanda. When you are anxious, you don't get to enjoy. You don't get to find out who you really are. So I think that is me for today. Over to you, Carol.
Yeah, when you say have fun, I so agree. And for me, it's all about playing with what presents, what's shown up. Play with it. Use the metaphor. You know, what words are you using to say about the situation? Play with them, you know, and look at it a different way. Well, what else could this be, you know? And that's what I love to do. And then it just helps you to dive in and just clear any blocks that might be in the way. And actually just notice what pulls you down. As I keep saying, don't make it wrong. Just notice. it's happening. So what was the trigger? What are you saying? You know, and very often what shows up, 'cause it's something that I love to do in my workshops, and I can only do them with sort of in the in-person ones, because I like to play with jigsaw puzzles, and I bring other games in as well, but in particular jigsaw puzzles, and I give these to people to actually do, and just give them probably about 10 minutes to have a go at it. They're usually just sort of small number of pieces, but as I say to them, listen to what you're saying to yourself as you're doing this puzzle. How are you feeling? And I get them to make a note of that, because whatever they're saying about the puzzle is what they're saying about their writing. And then I'll do some other work. We'll do some brain gym or some other activities that helps for the brain-body connection to readjust and find a different way of thinking and put a new perspective on it. And then they'll come back, do the jigsaw puzzle, and things will be different. And again, what they're saying then about it is what is shifted with their writing, and they find that their writing has changed. You know, so that's what I love to do, is to play with that. I remember somebody saying, "Oh, I hate jigsaw puzzles." I said, "Oh, so you hate your writing?" You know. And then afterwards they're going, "Oh," they just kept on going with it. "I'm enjoying this," you know. And they found a confidence and a belief about their ability to write within that activity. So it is about having fun, about not making it be so serious, and just play with whatever presents, and play with language. That's the main thing. So yeah, have fun and just play. So Life of Games was what I used to call my workshop that I ran many years ago. And I used to just bring games in, but now my workshops are focused on writing, so I'm much more specific. But before, it was a very generic workshop that I ran, and yeah, it used to be called Life of Games. So I think the overarching is about Life of Games, because that's what we do. We play games. And it's catching the games that we're playing and what we're saying to ourselves that stops us going and doing what we really want to do, you know, or what's there to be done if we're serious about moving our business forward, you know, or changing our lifestyle, you know, or making changes and improving our health, or whatever it is, you know. Catch what's in the background and just play with it. So yeah, have fun. I quite agree.
Amanda?
I think the play is so important, and that's something that adults forget to do all the time, is just to play and be silly, and to just find joy in the moment. And finding joy in the moment is something that is so important, especially if you're struggling with something in your life, is to take a step back and to be able to find joy in the moments of life. And it can be anything from like petting a pet, which I'm doing right now, as she's like sticking her head in my hand, like, "Pet me, pet me, pet me." Or if it's something that you enjoy, like I love to paint, and sometimes when I'm struggling with something, I forget about those things, and I just get into this like trance of like focusing on the things that aren't working, and when I can take a step back and do the things that I just feel so joyful in, that's when things start to get better, and to help you get on a better path, and to help you not worry about those things that you can't control. And when you can just live in the moment, life becomes so much better, because you're just realizing that everything around you is so amazing, and that there are so many positive, amazing things in your life that you probably don't recognize when you're in that stress cycle, and to let go of the worries that can come up in daily life, and to always take a step back and be like, it's okay, these things happen, but really, if I have food on my table, and I have a roof over my head, and I have clean running water. I'm one of the luckiest people in the world, and that's so hard to come back to sometimes when you're so focused on a goal and you're focused on something that you want to achieve. And then if you take a step back and you realize I'm one of the luckiest people in the world if I have these three things. And that's something that I think, especially in industrialized countries, it's so hard for us to come to terms with sometimes, is that we are some of the luckiest people in the world, and we don't always recognize that, and we're not grateful for it because we're always so focused on something that we want to achieve. And when it's not happening for us instantaneously, because we live in this instantaneous culture as well, where we can get the information we want in the snap of a finger. We can connect with people in like less than 10 seconds if we want to. We can there, but people need to understand that anything that you want to really achieve takes work and takes dedication and takes daily moments, but you also have to let go of that worry. So building a business doesn't just happen overnight. Reading a book doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a long time to learn the steps into doing what it is that you want to achieve, and to let go of that worry of if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to, but also to empower yourself to just be like, in this moment, I can be grateful. I can take a few steps in the direction I want. And I can also do what it is that my own inner self needs. So maybe my own inner self just needs to take a break and to relax, or maybe my own inner self needs to go for a walk, or I need to paint, or I need to be creative, or I need to write. But find those things that empower the joy in your life. And I think that's something that's really important for people, is to find that joy piece.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Everything, anyone who is watching my final words will be like what Amanda has just said. Everything takes time. It takes the hard work. Basically, with my company now is a proper branding. It took me a year. It's been running for 3 years, but 1 year was a bumpy road for me to learn about myself, to learn about the business, and to get it right. But it took a long time. I would have given up very easily, but I didn't give up because I knew where I needed to go. But now people go to the company and they get in touch with me saying, is there anything I can do for you? Or this is what I do. Or if you want to help me, I'll help you with your business. It's no longer, it's easy. Now things are very easy. Much people, who big companies, they go and say, can we help you with this? I'm like, and they're like, yeah, your company looks good. But before, if somebody can see what they see now, they'll be like, but they don't know the story behind it. So somebody will be starting something and giving up. Don't give up whatever you are doing. Don't be careful as well with whatever you're doing. You just go with the flow. If you have a bad day, just take that bad day as learning. What are you learning from that day? And tomorrow will be okay. So when you get up in the morning, and tomorrow will be okay. Or don't worry about people that are judging you. Those ones does not count when it comes to business. It's a distraction. Worry about people that genuinely want you to grow. So, and then keep going, regardless of what. Like we come here to Ngozi Talk Show. I didn't know there was a Ngozi Talk Show. There was going to be Ngozi Talk Show. I was on Legacy Wealth Talk Show. And then I ended up with Ngozi Talk Show. So, no one knows the future, the ending of everything. So no one knows. So just go with the path that you want to take. If it doesn't work out, just keep going. Find out what you've learned from that. So we are here Monday to Friday because I know Amanda needs to go. Any words, quick words of encouragement, Amanda?
Well, Noms, I was just going to add on to what you had to say about also surrounding yourself with people who are supportive and who are going to help you grow. And I think that's so important, especially if you have goals, is to start surrounding yourself with people who are going to take you in the direction that you want to go. And like you said, you can't plan everything. I don't know. I can't even remember how we connected. And I'm so grateful for that. But I could have never planned this connection. I live 1,000 miles from you guys. I don't even know how far it is. It's so far.
I know how I
And
find you guys.
I get up at 5 a.m. every Tuesday to come and be on this talk show, because I want to surround myself with people who are empowering and who are doing the work and who are taking steps each and every day to reach towards their goals, but also who are letting go of the stress of what needing to plan everything and enjoying the moment that we're in. So that's what I'm going to leave you with.
Well, I think that's actually a very important point. You know, surrounding yourself with people that can support you. And I think to add to that is that if people show up that are not being very supportive, is like, what is the lesson that they've come to show you? And once you learn that lesson, they will just drift away. But it's also letting go of people that have become comfortable and allowing that void to be there when someone has gone. Because that's something I've had to deal with, is people just drifting out of my life. People that I knew for years, old friends that are suddenly no longer around my circle anymore, just because of I've moved out of that. And it took a while to sort of let go of that. It's like, oh, you know, but if you can let go of that and just welcome the new ones that do show up, knowing that this is what's happening, and creating that space will allow for others to fill it, allow those that are more supportive to come in. So yeah, that is an important aspect. So letting them in, surrounding yourself with those people, but allowing old friends, old people, people that you've known for a long time, to just suddenly not be a part of your life anymore. It happens, and you have to be prepared to work with that. And the word grief comes in there. Grieve for that loss of what was there, but know that actually that was not what was going to help you move forward with where you want to be. And then you can let go of that and, you know, embrace the new. So, and as I say, just have fun with it, play with it.
Life is all about having fun. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Carol Ann, and thank you so much, Amanda. So we are here Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time, everyone. So if you're watching this video, please press some love button, some heart button, and share some love with your loved ones and your friends. And if you want to get in touch with our coaches, we have, how many coaches do we have? 19 coaches, and they're all from different fields. So whatever problems might be, so please get in touch with Ngozi Talk Show on our page, and we'll get back to you, or we'll connect you with whoever coach you desire. It's all about you. So thank you so much, everyone. God bless you, and live with grace. Hey, Ngozi Talk Show, baby. Where's the baby? Where's our baby?
She went upstairs to turn the
Oh, you
curling
sent her
iron on.
upstairs. Okay, I wanted to say hello. Say hello to us, for us, please.
Okay.
There's a Starbucks filter.
Oh, she's back.
Hello.
See, it just shows this, and then when you turn it around,
Oh my
there's
goodness.
a bit. Wait, whoa, it's not done.
Why
Kids live in the moment.
in the moment?